All right, welcome back, everybody. This is going to be my daily recap of my trades for this Tuesday, June 6, 2023. Starting off this morning, I took a long position in HOTH. HOTH was, I think, once again, was on everybody's radar. Quite a few folks traded. Volume was very high today. Show you my entry. Entry came in around 851. This wasn't what I called an HF1 buy, one of my stronger signals. I ended up getting out around 931, 932, something like that. Took my small profit. I had several targets up here, 1, 2, 3, actually 4 targets. The reason I got out is I really felt that was coming in early, because if we look back earlier in the morning, and I actually wasn't trading at this time, but I had an HF1, an HF1, an HF1, 3 HF1s right in a row. And of course, this fourth one over here, I went ahead and took that. But had I been trading earlier in the morning, yeah, I probably would have jumped in on these HF1s. So I didn't want to hold it too long. That's why I went ahead and got out. Wasn't trying to go for target number 3 or target number 4. So once I hit target number 2, went ahead and got out, took my profit. But still, nonetheless, nice little profit on HOTH. Let's see, what else? What else did I do? I also did FRZA, I believe. Yeah, FRZA. Let's take a look at FRZA. All right, on FRZA, I had what we call an HF3. I have 4 different patterns. This is HF3. Bought it at, it was 951, I believe. 951 right in here on this HF3 pattern. I did have 3 targets, 1, 2, 3. I went ahead and got out at target number 1 on FRZA. Made a little bit of money on that. Everything else was traded after the first hour. THMO. Pulled a really nice little profit on THMO. UCAR, which I traded the other day, did a little bit on UCAR. DRMA got into it and went flat. Didn't do anything at all. So I went ahead and just got out of that, and that was it. So overall, nice day. So considering what I did on the indices, actually, did we look? No, we didn't look at the indices. Let's take a look at the indices real quick here. All right, so let's see what we did on indices. Here's the Nasdaq. Now, I didn't actually get into a Nasdaq trade. It came in much later in the morning. I entered around 11:48, 11:49, something like that. I had an HF3 buy. For my entry on the mini Nasdaq, it did not hold. I did have some targets up here. Did not hold. Went ahead and we exited on our long. Took a losing position on that. And then an hour or 2 later, we ended up having a HF1 buy, so I went ahead and I bought on an HF1, added to my trade on that, added to my position size on that. I went ahead, hit first target, got out of the first target. We pulled back. I ended up having an HF2 set up after taking profit, so we had an HF2 right here. I bought on the HF2 and did have a target up here. Exited on... let's see, I entered this around 344, got out of this trade, I think it was around 359, what was that, 359, 4 o'clock, something like that. Took my profit on that, so ended up having a fairly nice day on the mini Nasdaq, picking up 784. I also did trade the mini Russell, made a little bit on the mini Russell. Let's see if I can get this Made a little bit of money on the mini Russell, $66. I wasn't trading too heavy on the mini Russell. Really didn't like the setup. So I ended up $850 on those 2 trades. Once again, the best thing I can say is when you're trading these indices, guys, you got to give it room. I've been trading indices now for, ever since I started trading back into the 80s with the with the big S&P 500, which eventually they provided us with the E-mini, because the margin on it was just getting out of hand. But you've got to give the market room to move when you're trading indices. Don't use stops too tight. I have found you really want to use a stop that's really a function of the volatility. All right, so setting a specific dollar stop is very difficult. So be willing to give the market some room to move. Otherwise, you're going to find you're getting stopped out a lot on these indices. That's kind of how I trade. So my stops are going to be a function of the volatility in the market. The profit targets are based on Einstein. Gives an indication of where I have the highest probability of getting out on these trades. So yeah, that's the only thing I can say about the indices. But I love indices. Indices have been good, and I think they're going to continue to be good here for the next several months. I mean, I like the ability to be able to sell. Even though today I was buying, I do like the ability to be able to sell the indices because I love, if I had a preference, I would only be a seller because I've always done better on selling than buying. And that's something else. If you've been trading for a while and you have any kind of track record, go back, separate your buys from your shorts if you're trading indices and see if you're better off being a buyer or a seller. Most of my students that have done this found out they're also better at selling than buying. So just something to keep in mind. Stocks are going to be a little bit different. It's very difficult to sell stocks, but you can do well just on buying, just scalping, go with the most active. If you do have a large enough account, you can be a seller on stocks. Just got to be careful on that and make sure you can borrow. Sometimes borrowing is a little difficult to do, but there are some good companies out there to where, usually they have a pretty good supply of stocks to borrow. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up. We'll be back again tomorrow and coming on Wednesday, and we'll see how the middle of the day goes. All right. See you later.